we're going to start on this electrical redo for the pressure tank, because this pressure tank has to move into the pump house. And it's going to be a multi-step process, but it needs to go quickly as possible so that the house is without water as short as possible. Now, for those of you that are going to fuss and whine and go, oh, what's that crap, dude? Yeah, that was that temporary connection that I made a year ago. Well, almost 2 years ago. And then just never did get a proper whip. Whatever, it's working. I know it's not code, whatever, but I promise you by the end of this job, it'll look better, because I'm going to do it right, well, eventually. Whatever, it doesn't matter. So here's what's going to happen. The tank has to move over to the pump house, but what I'm going to try to do for today, at a minimum, because I don't want to move the water lines today, but I want to move the electrical. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to disconnect these power lines here that go into the conduit, which goes to the well house, and I'm going to hook up another 12-2 just like this to run the power over to the pump house. And I'm just going to lay it on the ground, which is, there's no, but that's what I'm going to do. So it'll come in here through the door, and I'll have all this disconnected. I'll be able to hook it right back up. So that'll be a quick switch. Pump will be down for as long as it takes to make the connections. Once I do that, this conduit is then out of service, which is what I really need, because I'm going to be cutting it off, fishing the wires back out of it, and fishing more wires actually back through, upgrading to make it a 240 circuit versus, well, right now it's 240/20. I want to make it a 240 60 amp, and we're going to come in here and we're going to come up on this wall, and we're actually going to put a another sub panel just like the one that's over there on the house that I was just showing you. We're going to put one in here just to give me the future potential that then in here I'll be able to wire up lighting circuit and maybe a receptacle circuit as well. So anyway, that's going to let me actually move all of the electrical service today, which I didn't think I'd be able to. It just kind of dawned on me. And then tomorrow we'll be able to move just the tank and not have to worry about trying to do electrical and plumbing at the same time. So anyway, let me go find, I've got a spool 12-2 down in the Connex. Let me go find that so that I can get it laid out to make this quick connection, and then we'll start cutting the old stuff loose. Okay, so first things first on getting our panel put up here on the wall. I've got a conduit that you guys can't see, you probably saw it in the last little snippet, coming straight up out of the ground, and I want the panel to be basically centered up with the conduit so that I know my knockouts, the conduit will not be kind of at some goofy looking angle. So I just measured off the wall here to check. It's about 16 on center to the conduit, which actually works really well, because up here on the wall, 16 on center, boom, it's right on a stud, which is awesome, except that probably the knockouts on the box probably won't be, or the screw holes on the box probably won't be. We'll see. So let's actually see, because I haven't opened it yet. This is a GE sub panel. It's a 125 amp sub panel, which I don't need anything near that. I'm going to wire it only for 60. And really not my favorite. I would have preferred QO. The lumberyard I went to had QO breakers, but not panels. They only had GE or Eaton panels. So just grab the GE, whatever. The whole rest of my house is all wired with QO. I like it that way. Oh, it does work. Look at this. Looky there. The mounting holes are centered. So that's perfect. So those will center up right there on the wall. That's kind of crappy. It's got a big hole right in the top of it that I don't actually need. So I'll have to eventually go get a plate to cover that. But yeah, basic little panel here. It's a 4-space 8 circuit, as they call it. I'm going to need maybe, there'll be two spaces we'll take up by the 240/20 amp for the well, and then probably just one more. I'll probably combine the lighting and the receptacle circuit. It'll just be one little overhead light, and the receptacle maybe never get used, who knows, but I want to be able to have it in here. So anyway, we will get this taken apart and mounted up there.
Alright, so we're pulling the wire through from this side going that direction, right, Tom?
I haven't fully decided yet which direction we'll pull, but it shouldn't matter too much.
Okay. Well, I've got a string here that's from the other.
That's what?
Should be plenty long.
Let's do double string.
Last time we did it.
Yeah, let's do double string because this is bigger wire. So it's going to want to fight us a little more. All right. It'd probably be more comfortable if I had some washers on those screws. The screw heads are kind of small for the holes, but it's holding. So I think it's fine. I went ahead and knocked out the knockouts in the bottom just because it was easier to do with the panel down than up on the wall. So this is where our main power will come in. Then we'll have a lead coming out of here to go over to the well. And I think I'll probably do a whip from the well over to the well head because it's going to be only a couple feet and there's nothing else going to be here. And then this one here will be for a 1/2 inch conduit to come out for the lighting in the receptacle circuit. So box is up. We're ready to pull some wires to it. All right, so we've turned off the power to the well, the breaker. So now we'll disconnect these wires at the wellhead and go ahead and get our temporary connection put in. So this is just a standard 3/4 LB, and I will have to change this, I think anyway. Well, maybe not. No, if I can cut off right here to splice that whip in, that'd work okay. Otherwise I'll have to put on a whole new LB just because of, yeah, being able to work with it. But anyway, so take that out, pull these out cautiously. Even though I flipped the breaker, I don't have an electrical tester to verify. So some of you may remember when I made a video about hooking this up. When I hooked it up, I actually bought the wrong size wire. I wanted to, do it by convention, red, black, and green, but I bought the wrong size on the black, I think. And so I actually crisscrossed things around because, again, convention is just convention. The wires all serve the same purpose as far as carrying a load. So I'd made on a video back then about how, I have black hooked to green and green hooked to black and all that. Probably would confuse somebody if they got in this junction box, but luckily it's just one circuit, so it's not like it would not all that difficult to figure out what's going on. Yeah, that's right. The black wire that I had was like a 14 gauge, and it needed to be 12 gauge. I had a green and a red 12 gauge. Okay, so that's disconnected for the moment, and here's our wires that we're going to pull back out. So I've got to try to loop one of these around on itself and tape it off, and we'll use that as a pulling eye to pull our fishing string back through. Now I'm going to go unhook the other end at the tank. Okay, now that I got the picture, now I'll remember. I'll end up hooking it up and never having to look back at the picture, but if I didn't take the picture, I'd have forgot for sure. So we're going to leave those. The power wires coming from the box we'll leave for now. We're just disconnecting the wires into the conduit that feed to the well pump itself. So red, green, and a black wire underneath here, which is acting as our ground. There. Okay, so those are disconnected. And then we want to, I guess it doesn't really matter which end we fish from, but one of these has to be dedicated enough to, that'll work, that red will work. We'll turn that around, tape it up real good, and have a little pull eye on there. So we'll get that hooked up, and in the meantime we'll get our new power wire strung out. So it's funny, if any of you remember that following the old channel, or following the old video when I first set this up, we actually ran our the well off the temporary box that the power company set for us for, gosh, several months, I think. Several months. Just by having that wire laid out across the ground. The same thing I'm doing now. It wasn't ideal, of course, because it was a just standard Romex. It wasn't really, meant for like underground or UV protected service. But it got us by. That black wire's got some broken spurs on it I don't really like.
Hey Tom?
Yes, sir?
Can I unhook the conduit from the side of the tank?
Yes. I don't know that you can. Physically. I'm not sure what you're asking.
Well, there's a screw holding the little white piece on the side of the tank. It's got a like a nut deal thing on it. I can take that loose, and that way we can get a better shot of bending that wire and getting it through that hole.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
I think so.
Well, don't you have to unhook it to move the tank anyway?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have no idea what he's saying. The little nut deal. All right, so that's that, and we'll lay plenty of slack in here so that we can trip over it every time we come in and out. I'm gonna put these screws back up in here just so I don't lose them. Okay, so that part's done. Now we go back over to the tank and hook up the other end. All right, let's get our temp power hooked back up here. Hey, go in there and look at the gauge on the wellhead and see what pressure it's reading.
It's about 46.
Yeah, I was just curious if the ladies have been running any water inside. We'll turn this on, let it pump back up, just so they've got pressure, and then we'll shut it off while we pull.
Okay.
Just so we're not risking touching something, you know, while we're working.
Yeah, it'd be good to have it off.
Getting electrocuted on their behalf so they can have a sink running.
Yeah, no,
I mean, that's probably what they'd want from us, you know?
Yeah.
Ultimate sacrifice.
Yeah. You don't need any more of this yellow wire right now, do you?
Nope.
Let me just feed her back in there. Sit her out of the way.
That's back out of the way. I'm gonna pull all of our pull rope out of here just so
All right,
it's,
out of the thing.
yeah, just
Well, don't forget your little nuts there by your foot, so if you drop it, you're going to want to keep that. I'll pull it if I made it plenty long.
yeah.
But you know what? It can go into fire. It didn't cost me.
Yep. All right.
This is left over from your wedding.
Still?
Yeah. You look how much twine is there. We're going to have to get a baler to finish that out.
Yeah.
I've been looking. I found you a rake this week for $100, but Katie said not
All right.
to tell you.
So that's on there. Let's throw this breaker and see what happens.
So you want me to pull, or you want to?
No, I'm gonna pull and let you just feed twine through.
Okay.
Okay, so we kind of got started here. We cut off that first piece of conduit just to remove those elbows. We've got everything strung up, tied off to our end over there. The breaker is off right now just so we don't accidentally touch any wires and get zapped. So I'm gonna go in here in the well house and start pulling to feed our wires back through. So, I think you guys can see that right here. Ready, Paul?
Yeah, ready. Easy, easy. Going through the end. Okay.
Bingo. We'll tie that off somewhere so I don't forget it, and then we'll see about pulling our new wires through shortly. All right. So we're going to get started pulling our new wires through. We're going from 3 number 12s to 8 number 10s. So it's quite a much larger bundle, but 3/4 conduit, it should all fit just fine. I kind of dry fitted it before I planed this. So I'm going to pull the excess string here. It's just vinyl baler twine, but we did double string it just to have a little bit extra strength. My father-in-law's on the other end, and he's going to start feeding the wires in and doping them up with some Vaseline. Did you put the Vaseline on?
Yeah.
Good. Dope it up with some Vaseline to have a little extra lubricity.
You're starting the wire.
You ready?
Yeah.
All right. In she goes. You might periodically put some Vaseline on as you go.
Okay, well, hold on a minute. We gotta get where I can do that.
It's actually pulling really easy, but I'm just concerned about when it gets to this corner, which no, don't worry about it, Paul. Because if you're doping Vaseline back there, it doesn't do me any good on this corner.
It's feeding pretty easy.
It is. Bingo. That has got to be the easiest pull I've ever done. I didn't even feel like I tried. What do you think? Was it the Vaseline? Do we give all the credit to the Vaseline? Nice. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to start hooking up all of our conduit here. I've got the father-in-law's working on the other end. He's slipping conduit over the other ends of the wires where we started the pull and working it up to the other panel. And I'm going to start on this end, working up to this panel. So first is going into this LB and getting that on. That's going to turn us over to the wall. And then we'll have a elbow here that goes up into the panel. Hopefully we have enough conduit.
Oh, I think so.
Well, I'm just thinking I've got to go about 6 feet up in here too, and I don't think I planned for that. Might have some pipe we can use. All right, look at this. Scrap that I cut off. It's gonna work right there. I'll clean that foam off of it, cut it to length, and then I just save myself a couple of parts and pieces, being able to reuse scrap. Yippee. All right, so here's the hardest part of when I do this sort of stuff. So now I've got to try to pull this down enough and get all these wires to make that corner, which is just about impossible probably. I remember now that this killed me when I did my own house. Why am I so stupid and did that again? Might take that box adapter out and then see if I can feed all of it in, because I thought I'd have more play. I thought I'd have more ability to pull down on this, but oh, there it goes. There we go. I think that'll do it. Look, there we go. That coupler down here was hung up on the wall, so once it broke loose, bingo. Now we're in. Okay. Whew, got lucky. I was just about to tell you guys that I messed up, but I don't ever mess up, so come on. Ask my wife, she knows I'm perfect. That's in there. Bingo. Now we can hook up our wires. Okay, so I just function tested the well, kicked on, ran fine. I'll show you here in a second how the wiring is currently arranged. But we've got everything up to the new sub panel in here. Wires are all hooked up, except there's no grounds hooked up to anything. I don't know, again, electrician, help me if you know, what that little silver rod is here in the back, if that's supposed to be some sort of grounding terminal or what. But anyway, I've just looped the grounds off to the side for now, and I'll probably just use wire nuts until I figure out whether if I need to get a grounding bus in there or what. I prefer a grounding bus, but I don't know. Anyway, so that's done for now. I've actually got power to it right now. I guess I should shut that breaker off because I don't need power to it right now. So that's done. I'll get my faceplate put back on there. And this is just going to stay the way it is overnight. Now I'll take you over. See our yellow wire running out here. Ooh, and the sun just started shining. We got a little shower and now sunshine. It's still showering. Grounds for an umbrella around here. Okay, so we come over here to the sub panel, and now we've got the new 60 amp breaker that feeds that panel in the pump house. We've got our original 40 amp that feeds the AC condenser here, and we've got the 20 amp 240, which is currently powering the well. So I don't want to break the extra tabs out of the panel. So for tonight, I'm just going to shut this door, and I'm going to leave that faceplate off because I don't want to break the extra tabs out, because ultimately I'm going to pull that 20 amp 240 out of there. Now, we did run into a boo-boo, and this is me being completely stupid. When I wired this on the initial construction of the house, I must have told myself, hey, you know what? This panel is only going to run 240 circuits, so it doesn't need a neutral. So guess what? There's my neutral bus. I never wired a neutral on this circuit. I ran dual 10-2 instead of dual 10-3. So as of right now, I have no neutral in this box, which means anything downstream of this box, I can't run. Well, I can't run 120 out of this box or anything downstream of it. I've got a plan to fix that. I know it's not code right, which is fine because I don't have to abide by code, but it's going to work. The only reason it's not code is because I'm not running all my wires along a similar path. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to come out of this panel through that hole with conduit. We're going to go down to the slab, and we're going to walk around the slab all the way to the main panel over here and come back up. So I'll run just a dedicated neutral leg back over there to the main panel and tie in there. Again, I know it's not code, but it'll work. It's gonna all be wired up fine. It'll just look a little goofy if another electrician ever looks in my panel. They'll be like, what the heck are those two wires running off over there? But this is for the sake of history, I guess. That's what we're gonna do. I'm not gonna add that on this video because I don't know when I'm going to do that. I don't have to do that until I decide to wire up a lighting circuit in the pump house. Until then, I don't need it. So not super critical. But for right now, everything's on, everything's working, holding, no breakers are blowing, which is always great because, you know, that's always really scary. But I'm gonna turn that one off. That's the 60 amp that goes to the pump house. So turn it off. We're gonna shut this door and we're done for today.